first of all, we are manifesting 24/7, regardless of whether or not we think we're manifesting. So whatever it is that we're experiencing in our 3D reality, it is a collection of all of the thoughts that we've been thinking, all the beliefs that we have encoded in our body is what we've been experiencing. So when I think about, when I was in corporate, it's like overworked, underpaid because of the stories that I had in the cells of my body. And so it was very interesting. The second I started to move into entrepreneurship, heal all those stories, it was like, okay, that's not my story anymore. Okay, now I'm making 6 figures. Okay, now we're making more now. And it was so interesting when we think about when we're manifesting, the things that come easy to us is probably because some of the stories we received when we were younger, right? Like you see a happy couple, your mom and dad married, and then it's easy for you to manifest your partner, right? Or mom and dad have a great relationship with money, and then money is not so hard for you to come by because it's like there's ease that you experienced when you were younger. Again, those are just codes that we started to pick up and say, that's mine. Apparently that's mine. But the same is true for the opposite, where it's like you hear mom and dad arguing over money, or no, we can't buy that at the grocery store, even if you need it, whatever that might be. That was kind of one of the stories that I grew up with. No, there's not enough. We only have X amount in the envelope this week. And so I remember being like, I had to do a lot of work around money in that in particular. And so it was just a very interesting process where I had to get really clear on what are my stories that I'm telling myself? What are my beliefs? And oh, by the way, what are the beliefs that are even deeper that I'm not even aware of? This is where my healer would go into my own Akashic records and tell me where are all the limiting beliefs around money, but also where is there a version of me that actually has it all figured out? Because I want to learn from her, right? This is us when we visualize a future version of ourselves. What is she doing? Is she on stage? Is she making 8 figures? Is she how does she work? What is she wearing? Like we start to really connect to what is that version of me doing, wearing? What is her state of being? What is the energy like? And then we bring that down into current version of ourselves. So the way that I always teach this is think about this as like an alter ego. Like who is a person that you really admire that's doing the thing that you really want to do? And what is the energy that they're dialing up? So like how would this person do this thing? Would she wear this? And make it your own. But we think about the different dials that we start to bring up. When I think about, my alter ego for business is going to be a different alter ego that I put on for mom, right? Like I'm going to dial up compassion, presence, I'm going to dial certain things up, patience when I'm in mom mode, right? And when I think about alter ego there, I think about my grandmother, right? And so I'm like, oh, she was so present. There was laughter. Everything was funny. The internal dialogue that I had from being with my grandmother was like, it's okay. Everybody spills. It's no big deal. Like things like that I then carry over with my son where I'm like, it's okay. Everybody spills. And he said this the other day out loud. He spilled something and goes, it's okay. Everybody spills. And I'm like, oh my God, it's working. Like the internal dialogue, the dialogue that I'm using is becoming his internal dialogue, which is why I get to dial up the compassion, dial up the patience, dial up all those things. And the same is true of business. So I think trying on an alter ego is a really powerful way to manifest because it just tells us, what do I need to dial up energetically that I already have within me, but I just need almost like a reference point to dial it up.